I'm failing as a husband.
Yeah, type deal.
Well, now I
So
know Yor gets shot in the ass. Thanks, Irby.
I feel like it was before this though.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, it was like a
Watch it be
manga
next
episode.
fucking episode. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Herbal Synergies The Shop. I'm your host, Sinji. With me, as always, my co-host, Bay.
What up?
What's up, Irby?
You know, the usual. Living life.
Nice,
Life living
nice.
me.
Nice. Okay, guys, not gonna lie. It was brought to my attention 3 days ago, without me even noticing. I ran out of episodes for Wise Man's Grandchild, and I didn't even notice until this morning. So, there's an empty slot on the board.
See.
And I'm about to fill it.
Fill it up, baby.
Yep. So, starting next week, ladies and gentlemen, we will be watching Peach Boy Riverside.
Beach Boy Riverside.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Won't be a bad one, I guess. I was like, that's one I thought about rewatching.
You already watched it?
No. I just like being silly.
You're doing a mighty fine job at it, Irby.
Maybe I am today. Being the silliest.
But, do you have a flavor of the week?
I got a few flaves this week.
I only have two.
Yeah. But I'm gonna give some love to Hanizawa, how he just shows up and he's like, "Oh, I'm brainwashed, but you know what? I'm finna beat the piss out of you." And that
Mob.
fight, I was like, yeah. That's like, okay, I
Mob confused me
see.
at the end, but it
Yeah,
didn't take too long to pick up.
yeah. I did enjoy the mob this week. I also enjoyed Spy Family a lot this week.
Bruh. Mob, so Spy Family swerved me in the beginning. I'm like, I probably should have put two and two together.
Yeah.
It was that damn vision paired with the gloom and the cuts.
Yeah.
I
I say
think,
it's funny though, cause in the manga there's like one episode where like she gets shot in the butt. So like the lawyer's like she doesn't want to sit with me or hang with me or something, and like it's the reason she doesn't want to sit down is because she got shot. It's nothing to do with him, and he's like, oh, this, that, and the other.
I'm failing as a husband.
Yeah, type deal.
Well, now I
So
know Yor gets shot in the ass. Thanks, Irby.
I feel like it was before this though.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, it was like a
Watch it be
manga
next
episode.
fucking episode.
Yeah, could be, but
Watch
I
it
feel
be
like
next episode, and I'm like, well, Yor got shot in the ass. She's not gonna want to sit
yeah.
with Lloyd.
Cause it was a manga episode because this one happened. Frankie's little thing happened after that, so I was like, oh, interesting. Or it could be next
Oh, so
episode. I
Frankie's
don't
thing
know.
is canon.
It, I thought could be. I don't know. It's not clear. But assuming if it's in the manga, it's got to be in there.
Gotcha. All right.
But
Well,
yeah,
you
we'll
said you
see.
had more flavors. What's up? What you got? What you got?
Yeah, the whole episode was funny for Spy. So we'll talk more about that when it's there.
Oh yeah, that episode of Spy was great.
Yeah, and then little Tots when Destiny, she's like, oh, so this is what it's like for someone to mask a feeling. I was like, oh, look at you picking up on people cues.
Yeah, Ty hit me in the feels a little bit.
I was like, forget you, Todd. No, he's okay. He's a good guy.
That end of the episode hit me in the feels a little bit. I ain't gonna lie. I was
Just
like,
wait till you
damn.
watch the next episode.
You ever watched the next episode?
Yeah, dog.
Couldn't wait.
Nah, I figured we was just gonna do two of Tot since the wise man went down the drain. So
Before we hit record, you know what you said to me, Irby? You know what you said
shit.
to me?
No, I don't remember.
You know what happens when you assume, big dog.
Yeah, but I had that just in case. You was like, yeah, I just did two. So I
Nah,
was like, all right,
nah.
keep it in my back pocket. Now I mean,
Didn't
you gotta
do it.
get ready. You stay ready.
You
Yeah, I
right.
should have known. You don't think like that.
Hey, listen. Had I actually paid attention to what you told me, and we probably would have had an episode of Peach Boy Riverside on this episode.
It's quite possible. Who knows?
Yeah. But on to my flavors this week.
No one cares. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm about to make them care. One coming from Bleach, Stud Kurosaki catching a Reishi arrow with his bare hands. My man was being cool, even though none of it's gonna catch me by surprise because me and Irby already read the entirety of Bleach and reacted to it in the beginning of this podcast.
Yeah.
But coming in flavor number 2, just get some contrast in this tea. Tokyo Revengers. Without saying too much that'll give it away to Irby.
I ain't gonna watch it no more, dog.
Damn. Someone very important in their life might be in danger. And it was shocking. It was like, oh. And I don't think this can be fixed. So I was like, oh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Not good.
Good.
Not good.
I'm all about killing folks off.
You not.
Yeah, I am.
You not.
I would have killed everyone off.
Damn.
I would have told Takemichi find him a new love interest.
Man, we both know that's the best he gonna do.
They come dime a dozen.
Not for him, dog. Not for him.
Just
Hina's a
'cause
great girl.
he got emotional attachment. That's all.
Actually, I think it's because he was a loser and was the only girlfriend he ever had, so it's like shit, that was the only girl who actually gave me a shot.
Yeah, that's how it be, dog. But there's always other fish in the sea, even though you got to swim through a little piece of trash.
Yeah, but he's fishing in a pond.
Yeah, well, keep swimming, little fella.
His river dried out.
Wait till it rain, little fella.
All right, you want to attack some Classroom of the Elite quotes?
Go ahead, big dog.
Okay, from season 2, episode 3. The greatest souls are capable of the greatest vices as well as the greatest virtues.
Sounds like the model to my life.
What are you thinking?
Give it a 7.75.
I was thinking 8 or 9.
Yeah, take it how you will. Round up, round down, bring it around town.
Season 2, episode 4. The material has to be created. It's short, simple, to the point, 7.
They say matter can neither be created nor destroyed. So, I don't know how I feel about that quote. Give that one a
Unrated.
4.
Oh, he gave it a 4. Oh, went low.
Yeah,
Episodes
low.
4. Season 2, episodes 4 quote got a 4 for Irby.
And what did you give it?
A 7.
A 7. You're too lenient.
What? I don't know. I just go with the first number that comes to my mind.
You gotta be stringent.
Stringent. That's not
Stop
a
handing out
word in my
grades.
vocabulary.
Dang. Well, you can look it up after the show.
After the show, season 2, episode 5. Every failure is a step to success. That's a solid 9.
I was gonna give it 11.
Sure, sure, sure.
Nah, give
But
it.
it's right. I mean, you can learn from all failures.
Yeah. Are they really failures if you learn from them?
No, no, it's a step towards success. Is if you learn from it.
It's kind of like that quote earlier where it was like, oh, it's only a mistake if you don't take the steps to correct it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, isn't essentially a lot of science trial and error?
It is a lot of mess around and find out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, for the hell of it, we're gonna do one more. Season 2, episode 6. Adversity is the first path to truth. I don't.
Adversity. I mean, that is, I can agree with that.
I'm a bit.
Because
I'm a bit ignorant to the definition of adversity.
it's like when something knocks you down, do you say I'm a wimp and stop it, or do you say, you know what, I'm gonna muscle through this and keep going?
Oh,
Like, I guess you could say in terms of a video game, like it's like you're doing a level and you're like 1 or 2 levels short, but you think you could defeat the boss, and he starts beating up on you, and you're like, I gotta defeat the boss, and you end up powering through and defeat the boss. Like that's like adversity. It's like an event that can cause you to go in the opposite direction.
oh. So adversity is a cliche. MC.
Yeah, pretty much.
Gotcha.
Simple terms.
Gotcha. 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 Okay. Cool. 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 Irby, what would you like to
Yes.
talk about first?
Would you like to go ahead and get Trojan out the way since it's fresh?
It is definitely fresh, and you know what? I didn't really understand what I finished reading.
Dang.
I was like, "What the fuck just happened?"
A bunch of fighting, really.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of fighting. Yeah, but go
And
ahead. I'm here. I'm listening.
yeah, basically, I forget the guy's name, the sword guy. He started fighting his arch nemesis, and apparently that guy stole someone from his clan's power, and he's a collector of Trojan powers. And so they get to fighting, and basically he defeats our boy, the chosen person. Um, so then he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna collect one of his swords because he had one of the special swords, so I can have a pair of it." And he's like, "Nope, I'll do that later." And then so we flash to Azuma, and Azuma's fighting old lady, and he goes from an attack mode to defense mode plus attack, kind of, sort of. And so now they're fighting some more. He beats him up, gets beat up. She's landing hits. She's like, "Oh, well, check out this new mode. If you survive this, you're really strong." And, they say like the strong ones, they're natured in battle. And then, they come up and they're completely different than like people that talk about constant training. And she's like, "Oh, survive
Hmm.
this." And she goes in a chaos state and she just starts putting in work.
I feel like she
It's
was
like,
just in a convoluted way. She just explained being book smart won't help you on the streets.
yeah, it's kind of like if you go to a Brazilian jiu-jitsu gym and they teach you all the moves, but you never apply them to actual fighting, then you never really know. Because in certain fights, your opponent's not going to bend his arm a certain way for you to get it. So
Right.
you have to maneuver yourself to put him in the position to get got.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So then she goes on and explains the chaos state, and some beings lose their humanity in it, and some are able to actually be in the chaos state and control it somewhat. So yeah, she goes into a big old monster and starts fighting again. So
Oh boy, here I go killing again.
yeah. So that was that. Good episode.
Alrighty. Now let's talk about Wise Man's Grandchild. Oh wait, we can't. It finished. Damn it!
I ain't sad.
It was such a weird finish. That's why I didn't think it finished. I was like, oh, that was the season ender. So
Yeah,
disappointing.
it was.
What the fuck was that?
I feel like they did like a mid-season finale of something. I was like, huh.
Yeah, it probably is just the first half of the season because all the exciting shit happened in the middle of the season.
It did. Or maybe they're one of those ones where they didn't get renewed, but they're going to be in manga form, so
Oh, that'd be sad.
I'll be okay with it. But let me go ahead and read.
Yeah, I don't know if I plan on reading. That's why.
Mm, dang. You should plan on reading. Reading is fundamental.
We'll see.
Yeah, you read everything else. Yeah. So,
All right, so moving on to.
some Tata Asina.
Oh man, episode 10,
Or do you
Master
want
and
to do
Pupil.
you want to do Mob then do Tot?
We can do. Well, they're both along the lines of like the same kind of interesting. It's just they hit different spectrums of the emotional scale.
Hmm.
So we can do tact.
Okay, big dog.
Yeah, we can.
Spark it.
Yeah, we can do that. Episode 10, Master and Pupil, Lenny. Well, Lenny's over here comparing Asina's show as a light to guide the way. And he thinks to himself, oh, he wants to be a light like that for someone. And then we end up with Lenny, Tack, Destiny, and Titan versus Commander Guy, Heaven and Hell. And the Commander Guy is saying, "Oh, you taking on? Are you doing this to make amends for the past?" Which we got no answers for that
We didn't.
in this episode. I was like, "All right, so
Yeah.
what do you do?" Because so far, all I know is the
Well,
attack happening.
not in a concrete sense, but in like maybe an abstract sense.
Well, maybe it was just him failing to protect Asahina in general.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so a little bit of the backstory. We got to see how close Lenny and Asahina, Tak's dad, became. And Asahina was actually a conductor? No, he wasn't a conductor. He was a conductor, but not like one with a music card. He was just a guy who believed that he could bring hope to people with music. And Lenny was actually trying to warn him. It was like, hey, no, maybe we shouldn't do this, increasing threats. But, of course, God didn't listen because MC can't have both parents alive.
Yeah.
So, the building collapse is what we saw. We saw Lenny waking up, and we saw Tak crying over his dad. And we're going back to the fighting scene, and it's Destiny versus Hell, Titan versus Heaven. Heaven has like this umbrella thing that turns to a gun and a sword, and they're going back and forth, and we get another flashback to when Lenny first gets Titan. The commander approaches him and is like, hey, you have two options. You can recover, live your life as is, or you can fight back. So he decides to fight back, and Titan and Lenny make a promise to each other. It's like, hey, when you're down, I'm going to smile for you so you can smile again. I'm going to smile enough for both of us. And they both basically say that they're going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
So we're fighting again, and Tac's going all out. It's kind of for some weird reason Lenny wasn't involved in part of the fight. Some of the choreography for this scene, it's probably like the way that it is in the manga, but like it was kind of like making sense. Like this is supposed to be like in a music card sense, a 2-on-2, but it just seems like a series of 1 versus 2s.
Yeah.
Like it's not Destiny and Titan versus Hell and Heaven. It's like Destiny versus Hell and Heaven, and then it's Titan versus Hell and Heaven, and then I'm just fucking putting two and together. That's Hell and Heaven together.
Yeah.
I just put that together. But
Dang.
we get another flashback where Lenny goes to Tak's house and like it seems like he wants to apologize for not being able to protect his dad. But then he decides it's not right. He starts walking away, but hears some music in the garage, and he's like listening, and then he hears Tak crying. It's just like, now's not the time I should be apologizing. And he walks away.
Yeah.
So back to the fight. Tact and Destiny go complete synchronized mode and let off a rifle burst that destroys Heaven's umbrella. Okay. Then they're gearing up for a second major shot, but it seems like the corrosion spread much faster than they're used to. Because I feel like they fought way longer before. Like the consistency of how long they can fight is very confusing to me.
Oh, he's also losing his life force, so
Yeah, and
he
it's also
also doesn't
like,
have as much. Yeah, doesn't have as much life as he did initially.
and he's also probably like was trying to put a lot more power into that shot. It looked like,
Yeah.
which will like equate to like how much life force he wants to put into it. But Tack goes down, so Destiny reverts back to her blonde hair form, her cassette form. Hell kicks her out the way, and then um, Heaven's about to shoot Tact, but then Lenny gets in front of him instead of just tackling Heaven for some reason. Like that's another thing I don't understand. If you can like, and it happens with scenes and like, hey, someone's about to get hit by a car, so like to save them and kind of push them out the way. If you have enough time to push someone out the way and you're strong enough to like push that person out the way, why don't you try to carry them out the way? Like get yourself out the way too. You know what I mean?
Well, you can push and then you can fly over top of him.
That yeah. You know what I mean?
Like, yeah, I know what you mean because I'll be watching a lot of shows. I'm like, man, this is dumb. Like, you
That
could
could
have
have been
just
avoided.
said, yeah, you could have saved a whole bunch of stuff by switching cars as a Geico. But
Shut the fuck up. But that's what I'm saying. Like Lenny could have, he had enough time to get in the way of the shot. I feel like you had enough time to like alter the shot. She was right there. It's not like she was
yeah,
shooting from like 200 meters away. Like they were both right there in arm length of you. So he took the shot, and then she raises her arm and pops two more into him.
and just keep shooting and
Yeah, it was just like,
shooting.
bro, no one's doing anything. Like we're kind of just accepting this. Titan is more than capable of like jumping in at any point, but actually, Hell was holding her back. Okay.
Yeah,
So then they put up a fight as he's bleeding out. I'm like, where was this fight earlier? This was. You could have been helping earlier. This bitch just went off. Where's all this power coming from? Why were you holding back? I don't understand what's going on. So, like, the fight's ending. Lenny's dying. Titan had a moment where she had, like, fucking 5 shotguns out at once, and she sent a fucking blast going towards Hell, but Heaven got in the way. Did the same thing that I was just talking about, pushed her out the way and took the hit. But Heaven and Hell both survived the shot. Lenny is on the floor bleeding out. They're having
dying.
a very emotional moment together. And Tact is telling Lenny how he's writing a song about his experiences to now, and then he's a part of that song because he showed him what harmony is. And Lenny fades into, I guess, what you can say, he sees the light. So, like, in his transition, he's playing a duet with Tack being on the computer, and him having that big guitar.
Yeah, no. And I think it's the bass. Yeah,
Yeah.
bass violin.
And then Tack's father shows up, and it's like, that was a beautiful sound, and then an episode.
Yeah,
So emotional episode. I like the episode. It's just like with those saving scenes, they always get me because I always feel like you had enough time to do something differently.
Yeah, I was watching a whole bunch of stuff in anime. I'm like, if you could just I just hating the whole, oh, let me sacrifice myself when both y'all could have lived.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Mm-hmm.
they could have I definitely feel like he could have at least grabbed Tot, and I could see if he caught a bullet
And it's not even
that was
just
like
that.
fatally killing him. Yeah.
It's not even just that. Like Tak and Destiny were going all out from the beginning. Like this is the first time you see Lenny and Titan go all out, and it's like, why didn't you just do that from the start? It's not like she takes as your life force like Destiny does to Tak. Like you guys could have done that from the very beginning, and you probably would have avoided bleeding out because she was taking on heaven and hell at the same time, no problem.
Yeah.
The only problem was she was outnumbered, and if she went all out at first, I'm not saying Destiny is strong enough to take out either hell or heaven, but I'm saying she's good enough to stall while you overpower one.
Yeah. My thoughts exactly.
Yeah, so I'm still surprised Lenny died. I didn't think I was that attached to him, but it was kind of sad. And we got a couple more episodes to go, so I'm excited to see where the series is gonna call its either mid-season finale or season finale.
Yeah. I do think that other funny part I did like earlier, worth mentioning is when they're about to go to the meeting place, and she was like, "Oh, it's like, oh, is this a date?" And she's like, "What's a date?" It's like, when you go hang out with someone that you like, and then she's like, "Oh, we did that yesterday." I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
And
huh.
Anna is like, oh, those two seem like they're getting close. So like, they're clearly trying to put like a love interest between Tak and Destiny, which I don't know. I think it's kind of weird because there was a love interest with Tact and Cassette, sort of. Like you would feel
Yeah.
like, even though it's kind of like they were kind of like family, it was like, oh, that's also kind of like a love interest. She like brought him out of like the dark place he was in.
Was it? Are they like family? I think they're just like childhood friends.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just saying, like, you know how like sometimes your childhood friend is also like family. Like, oh, this person can come to my house whenever because my family knows them and like my family has welcomed them. It's almost like they are family. So like you
Yeah.
get like the one in it's like there's like a fine line between like childhood friend. Okay, this is someone I might have a love interest with, or this is someone that's like my sister. You know what I mean?
Uh huh. Yeah.
So
I
like
know
either way,
exactly what you
if
said.
Cassette was either one for Tact, I still think it'd be kind of weird to have a love interest with Destiny because it's like essentially you're with that person. It looks exactly the same. And it's like you're gonna be thinking about that person while you're if you were he was to end up with Destiny.
Yeah. More likely than not.
Yeah. But it sounded like you wanted to talk about Mob next and to save Spy for last.
Yeah, I feel like Spy has a resident place at the end because
No,
it's just,
it's just a banger.
yeah, all the way through. So, Mob Psycho, season 3, episode 4. The the new divine tree founder appears. So it starts off with the girl that stood up my boy Mob. She was like, "Oh, I totally forgot about you, Mob, because we all went out with some people from the founders. The bigwig showed up, and we decided to do this." I'm like, "Oh, okay, you're just a jerk, standing up
Yeah,
my boy.
I thought the same thing too.
You could at least say, hey, I'm not gonna make it today.'
See, like
Like,
it wasn't suspicious for me because I was like, oh, she's always been obsessed with the fucking
tree,
found the
yeah,
yeah that like that group.
yeah,
I was like, all right, you're a bitch. It's all right, Mob. Move on.
yeah. I mean, it'd be one thing if she's like, hey, not showing up today, and then bloop, was gone. but she just didn't. So I was like, huh, that's very irresponsible. At least I would always message somebody like, hey, I'm not showing up today. So so then the psycho helmet religion, they form a branch at the school that like all these people are into. I'm like, oh, okay. That's crazy. Like y'all want a branch there already. So and then then Reagan um invites mom to check out the roots of the city because they're getting a bunch of requests because they think it's paranormal. Which it is paranormal, but isn't paranormal,
Mm-hmm.
I guess. So then they found out that the brainwashing that's going on in the city is from actually like the divine tree essence because people around town have been selling divine tree stuff and this, that, and the other. Like, oh, have this divine tree jute roofs and divine tree cookies and divine this, that, and the other. And people have been acting strange,
Right.
which then led me to a thought I had. What if Dimple was actually brainwashed too?
See, at this point, I still wasn't convinced Dimple was the guy pretending to be Mob.
I mean, I thought about it. It could be, but what if it's just the broccoli has a life of its own? Or like, what if broccoli took on the excess energy from the evil guy that was fighting before, and it's like him reincarnated, but only the evil parts,
All possible.
which we don't know yet. This is part one of I don't know how many they didn't disclose how
Very
many
true.
parts it would be. So then Hinazawa, he was the one that figured it out because he drank the thing and he's like, oh, this is brainwashing stuff. And he's like, I'm gonna go destroy that plant. So he goes to destroy the broccoli
Mm-hmm.
in a sense. And so the tree god shows up to stop him. They start fighting, and then he starts getting brainwashed again. But it's all an act because my boy faked obedience and then launches a counterattack. And he's like, "Oh, that stuff only works on weak-willed people that aren't strong enough." And so they started fighting. And let's see here. Yeah, he chops up the fake, and then there's another guy, Mini Gishiri. He's a plant worker. He's like, "Hey, boss, these plants are look like they're wilting and losing energy." And so, like, eventually he figures it out, but then he gets knocked out and brainwashed again. So I'm like, dang. So then Mob meets up with his brother, and this is after Mob was feeling like he's being watched. For Reagan's like, "Oh, you just think you're Mr. Popular, huh? That's the only reason why you feel this way." And so, but no, they was being watched the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And so they tell the brother Ritsu that the plan is to carry the broccoli off to the ocean. And he's like, "Oh, I guess we'll do it." And also, this is going to be another one of my flavors. When Mom was like, "Well, we could do it, Ritsu, because there once was a time where we all had to carry a piano, and not all of us can move it by ourselves, but we worked as a team." I was like, "What a nice allegory there, Mom."
Yeah, comparing a piano to the fucking giant broccoli that's taking over the city.
Yeah. So that happened. Yeah, and then Ritsu, he remembers to wear the counter at the school board, and he has candy. He's like, "Oh, here's a candy for you and you and you." And Rob's like, "Oh, I'm gonna save my candy for after we do this." And Reagan's like, "Yeah, I'll do the same." And then so what happens is Ritsu eats it, and he's like, "Oh, I want to make a stop." And they go to like the civic center, and everyone in there's brainwashed, and they're like, "Oh, let's go ahead and do this. Like, don't we know what you're doing with the divine tree?" And this reaffirms that Mob, yeah, Mob was being watched because they all was looking at each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
Now,
and then so
question for you. Reagan is like definitely faking, right?
yeah, he has no. I think he's aware of the like psychic stuff.
And he's just like, "There's no place for me there."
Yeah.
So there's something's about to go down there. You know what? I need to
Are you
protect
are you
my.
talking about when he's like, yeah, what if it's just not the whatever?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if he's faking. Could you definitely don't see him getting brainwashed from somewhere.
That's what I'm saying. Like, when did he get brainwashed? And I'm like, nah, he's not brainwashed.
Yeah. So I don't know. He could be faking, or I mean, it did raise a great point because he's like, "Are you sure you're the one to take up the role or whatever?"
Mm-hmm.
Because Mob doesn't have that charisma.
No, not at all. And then another thing, I have another question for you when you talk about the last bit of the episode.
Uh huh. Okay. So yeah. Do. And then so Mob then he then goes to talk to the fake leader directly. So
Okay.
yeah.
Now my question is, Mob was around a lot of people before he got to the tree. Why did the people around the tree like kind of seem like they snapped out of their shit and was like, "Oh, it's the actual founder." And like even the blondie from the school was like smiling and say, "Hey, it's Mob." Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But away from the tree, they were like, "Nah, nah."
Maybe it's because Mob's energy was strongest at the tree at one point, so it counteracts per
Hmm.
se, and the root grass go somewhere.
That
I
part
don't.
confused me. But my man's 61% towards explosion, and I don't think
Yeah,
we're, and I don't think he's exploding into handsome Mob this time.
yeah. So I don't know. I'm like where Mob's going. I wonder if he'll get past his intrepidations about things,
We
so he
shall
can
see.
keep on get there and go.
Uh,
Yeah. So on to Spy Family. Your kitchen slash the informant gets a great romance plan. So this one just starts off. My man Lloyd, he's pondering why yours getting home so late.
And if you're like me, and like I'm sure a lot of people, we both probably assumed it's because she was assassinating people.
Yeah, but I did think that I was like, she normally doesn't get her hands cut up, so I was like, that's
That's what I was thinking. I was like, but now you mentioned the shot in the ass thing. You
yeah,
can get hurt on the job.
yeah. But I was like, she's
But
never came from a mission even home with a band-aid on her hands.
yeah, to your point, before we even talked about the her getting shot in the ass, I did notice. I'm like, it's kind of weird for her to have like her hands cut up.
Yeah, I was like, that's weird. And then so the stomachs growl, and Anya asks what's for dinner, and then she's like, um, Yor has her gloomy expression on her face, and she cuts on her hand, and she's like, "Oh, I don't want dinner." And Anya reads her mind to see what's going on. She's like, "Mama's gonna go cry." I was like, "Oh, what's she's crying for?" And
Homegirl was
so,
depressed.
yeah. And yours like, "I don't want to fail these two or lose them." I'm like, "Oh, what's happening?"
Cause then I can't kill anymore.
Yeah. So then, Yor shows up at a place with a disheveled look and a bloody bag filled of crushed tomatoes at her
Oh,
friend's house,
yo, but
Camille.
she had such a scary look on her face. I was like,
Yeah,
what are we doing?
like she was carrying a head in a bag or something. She was going to show confirmation. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
dang. And so it turns out that my girl just wanted to learn how to cook for Lloyd because he was stuck in the bathroom the whole day she cooked breakfast for him, which he
Yeah.
was out saving the world.
Yeah. So like, question for you at this point. So like,
Hmm.
she shows up to this door with the bleeding bag. We're presuming it's blood that's coming out of the bag, and the scary look on her face. She opens the door, and then the girl says, "Are we doing this again?" What's going through your mind at this point?
I was like, huh, bloody bag, do this again. And I was like, ain't that her friend? I was like,
Yeah, I'm
I
like,
don't. I was like, I'm sure they're not going to be fighting.
I was like, bro, are these? Did they fight yesterday? Like, what's going on? Isn't she the fucking chick from the job? Like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, I was going to say, I would say it was something probably along the lines of like she needed help with something, or you could have been like a bloody steak, or just the meat the thawed too early.
Mm-hmm. And then at that point, she mentioned the cook. I'm like, oh, I probably should have put that together.
Yeah, and so yeah, so
But
they
like,
start. Hmm?
no, I'm sorry. It was also like the fact that you're in her room was like, if I fail this, I might lose those two. So I'm like, oh, she's got a mission that like could jeopardize her living arrangement.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But I was like, I mean, if you didn't read the title, then you probably like, oh, hmm, interesting. But you know, the kitchen. So yeah, so then they start cooking, and then she's like, the one guy is there. He's like, oh, I got a special taste tester. Your brother here is for the cooking,
The
and
simp.
I was yeah. I was like, ooh man. So then she starts peeling potatoes, and it's just like a sea of blood. I'm like, ooh, that is the grossest potatoes I've ever seen.
It was so bad.
Ter-
At first, I didn't even know
terrible.
it was blood. I was just like, how'd she get the potatoes to like bleed? And I'm like, oh wait, that's her hand. Her hand's bleeding.
Yeah. And she's like, oh, this weapon's so hard to use. And she's like, it's not a weapon. And so then she's like, oh, I'm good with this weapon, and it's a knife. And she cuts the meat too thin. Then she cuts through the cutting board, cutting up the fish. And I was like, oh man. And Camilla tells her she's hopeless and to leave, get out of here. And she's like, oh, please, no. I need to be taught. She's like, I don't want to fail. I'm like, oh. So so then she comes up with a terrible dish, and then Yuri loves it, but my man's eating and throwing up at the same time. I'm like, ooh wee.
He's such a simp.
He's terrible. I'm like, oh bro, stop. Please stop.
Just please stop.
Please. Like you don't have to fake and perpetrate, my guy. If it ain't good, it ain't good.
It ain't good, homie.
So then this part was funny too. Camille tries her next dish that yours makes because she made try to make minestrone,
Mm-hmm.
and I forget what this dish was. And
Meatball.
she no, she said she was going to teach a meatball.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then so she passes out, and she's like, "I'm going to teach a meatball," and Yuri eats it, and his light starts flashing before his eyes. She's like, "Oh, was that you, mom?" And this and that, and I'm like, "Stop, guy, you killing yourself."
My thing was immediately after she made the minestrone and like they cut to like the final result, the purple stuff. I'm like, how do you fuck up that bad with supervision?
Yeah. It's it's also like what was that slime character that could cook terribly?
She the
Chion. Yeah.
Shion, yeah, Shion.
Yeah, I'm like, man.
But
I'm like,
now she
who?
has a gift that like no matter how bad it looks, it'll taste good.
Yeah. So yeah, so let's see, where was I? And then so she tries to get Yor to remember what her mother made because she's like, maybe we'll try a different approach. And so they were trying to recall dishes her mother made, and she remarks on how less robotic you're seeming lately. And the dish that they were making now is soup. And so uh, they taste it. It's great. They're like, oh, this is good. It's not bad. But it's missing something. So they add their special ingredient because uh, in certain parts of that domain, they add a little bit of sour cream to the soup. And so that was the spot. Makes it taste delicious.
That was a good observation by Blondie.
Yeah. I mean, there's certain things that you when you start cooking, you know that you need to put a little something in there. But not everyone needs to know your secret ingredients.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so then she goes back to the house and eventually she tells them, I've been trying to learn how to cook. That's why I'm so late. And they're like, oh, that's great. And she's like, tonight I'm making dinner.
And then the faces.
Yeah. And Anya's like, my last supper.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Nah,
I was like, oh.
but then it was really good, and Yor had this emotional moment. It's like, oh my god, they look satisfied. And then she
Yeah.
lured them into a false sense of security because she's like, and now here's my completely original meal.
Yeah. And so yeah, she starts talking about how she loves the look. She's like, I don't know, like I feel like she's at a crossroads between like, oh, should I keep killing again or should I get a family? Because I love this life. And that's what she brought out of her dish, and she gives them the dish and basically kills them. Anya's laid up on the ground, Lloyd's on the ground. I'm like, dang.
Oh boy, here I go killing again.
Yeah, I was like, oh, ooh, Lord. I don't even know what that dish looked like. It looked like a dessert.
It did. It looked like a. It almost looked like a pastry version of like a lava cake. Like once you cut in there, something would ooze out.
Yeah, I have no idea. But yeah, so that happens, and we get to my boy Frunky. He asked the lawyer for help because he fell in love with a girl, and basically my man was just stalking girl, but he calls it intel. He's like, oh, she does this, this, and this, and so he asked Lloyd to help him come up with ways to talk to her and get her to go out with him and stuff. She works down at this cigar shop, and he's like, I don't even like to smoke, but I go there to buy them because she's there. And I'm like, oh man,
Yep.
yeah. So I was thinking, what's the worst thing you ever did to get a girl?
Um. Hmm.
You had to fake along to go with, 'cause since you ain't like smoking.
I haven't. I don't feel like I've done anything like that.
Yeah, no Frankie stories.
No, I don't think I have anything like I've done. It's like, oh, I really want this girl, and let me do this because she's into it, or she works there, or blah blah blah.
Yeah, that's how I got into anime.
That's how you got an anime?
No, I'm lying.
Yeah,
I just thought it'd be funny to say.
I don't really have anything.
Yeah, I've known some people that done some crazy stuff.
I don't really leave my comfort zone. It's like as far as like him smoking and shit like that, doing something like haven't done anything like that.
Yeah, I think I've had I don't know if I had friends that did something like crazy. It was like, yeah, I don't even like reading this book or something. It was like she liked it, so I started reading it or
I
something.
almost went camping with a chick who wanted to go camping. And like, kind of, that's not a thing I would do, especially with people I don't know, because it was like a group of people.
Oh, I would definitely go camping.
Nah, that was like,
I actually have my own tent.
you have your own tent. Nice.
Yes, I don't have a sleeping bag though, because I outgrew it. But I have my own tent.
But you have your own tent. That's
Yeah,
part of what you need.
part of the battle, and then I have camp lighters and flintlock, fire starter. Yep, have a bear horn. Yeah,
What's
got
a
the
bear
stuff to
horn?
go camp. It's like a higher decibel thing that you can press that deters animals.
Huh. What if it attracts a bear?
It doesn't attract the bear. It's supposed to go make them go away.
I was just saying. I was thinking, all right, so when you said scare
You think
animals
it's
away, I'm thinking it's a bear thing that scares animal away. But what's going to scare the bear away? Because it ain't going to be another fucking bear.
yeah. So, but yeah, camping's fun.
Aha.
So yeah. But yeah, I thought it'd be a fun question to ask you. Oh man, Don Juan over there. But anyhow, so he starts prepping and training them for stuff and how to answer and ask questions and so he basically Lloyd puts on the disguise to help him talk to her so it's more natural. And then it happens. He goes in there, talks to her. She turns him down, essentially. But the
Rough. It
funny,
was rough. Like
yeah,
Anya couldn't even pretend she didn't read his mind.
yeah, I would say, yeah, the funny thing was he told him whole different story how she was busy and she didn't have time or something. And Anya read his mind and she starts to give him hand pats, like it's okay. Yeah. So then Lloyd, he goes ahead and he goes ahead and like Frankie's going to drink and he's complaining about it and he buys Frankie a drink and Anya's and yours at the obstacle course. So because Anya wanted to go there, and he starts drowning in sorrows there. So that concludes the episode. I
Solid
did enjoy it.
episode.
Yeah, it was a great episode. Very full of the jokes and hilarity.
I mean, I think I would have personally flipped the order of operations. I would have did the Frankie story first and ended with the your story. But that's just me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it makes a difference.
Yeah. So, well, what are you watching lately, Irby?
Uh, Not much, too much lately. I started just put on the Great Jahi every once in a while if I need some background noise. Still watching D. Gray Man. I did
Oh,
watch a few episodes of Afareta. I
watching.
finished up Skeleton Night the other day.
How did that finish?
I enjoyed it. I call it interesting Overlord.
Interesting Overlord. I do remember you doing some form of comparison to Overlord.
Yeah. So yeah, it's great. Maybe season 2 comes out. Not much else watching. Did some books, read some books. Finished up Jin Sung Woo,
Mm.
the third one. Might say that talk about for next week.
I keep trying to get into another audiobook called Tanya the Evil, and there's actually an anime for it on Crunchyroll and Funimation, but the beginning, like, I can't get past chapter 1. I've tried to start this twice, but, like, the amount of
Start on chapter 2.
explanation and big words used in here, like, just completely, like, derail my mind into thinking about something else.
Mm. Well, you gotta work on your vernacular.
I might just watch the anime. I might try to
Maybe.
build the interest in the anime first and then, like, hold my interest in the audiobook.
Yeah, you said it was Tanya what now?
Tanya the Evil or some shit like that.
Oh, I might read it myself.
Yeah, I have like the first 3 volumes and I can't get past chapter 1.
Dang, let me get them volumes in.
Mm,
Yeah, I'll read them for you.
I might send them your way. I mean, I have the audio book, not the actual physical book.
Yeah, dog, I'll log into your account.
I think I could just send it to you.
Mm. Go ahead and send me the book then. I'll be
Shit.
waiting for it.
I'd send you the solo leveling ones, but like I always before a book comes out, I just listen from the first one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
anything else you want to talk about, my good sir?
The annexation of Puerto Rico.
The who what?
Nah, nothing. I was just being silly. Play from the Little Giants.
The annexation of Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico. See.
Puerto Rico.
Yeah. What about you? You want to talk about anything else?
I got nothing, dog.
Don't want to talk about anything else?
I got nothing, dog.
I'm so serious.
Cause I got nothing, dog.
Yeah, all right. I guess that concludes this episode.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
Peace.